Hello everyone. So recently in the last couple of weeks, I've been meeting a few people who've been reflecting back to me their perception of who I am. And it's eye-opening in so many ways, because I realized that there are so many different versions of myself out there in the way that I'm being perceived, including the way that I see myself and believe myself to be. And so I've concluded that there are three perceptions or versions of who we are. The first perception or version is the version that we understand who we are to be, based on our own personal experiences, in the way that we interact with life, in the way that we get intuitive messages, and in the way that we move through challenging situations in our life. We've come to the conclusion that these are certain qualities that we possess, both the good, the bad, and everything in between. And sometimes, through my own experience, I can see how I may be attached to this perception because this is my perception based on my life. And how can anyone else challenge that perception, right? The second version of perception are those people who come into your life, maybe friends, family, or even strangers, who reflect back to us the most positive, most beautiful sides of qualities of who we are. And I know from just feeling into this energy, it's inspiring. It brings joy, and it brings hope, and it brings a sense of freedom from some of the perceptions that could actually be weighing us down. And this is the positive perception of who we are, reflected back through other people, through people we interact with. They probably don't understand the full extent to what we have individually been through, our own personal heartbreaks and our own personal strives, and the journey that we've taken so far, but they see something beautiful in us. They see something empowering in us, and they see something hopeful in us, which triggers parts of ourselves at the same time to want to blossom in a way. And also these parts may be some parts that we've never been able to fully embrace or even know that it's there to begin with. So they come in bringing this perception to trigger us towards a forward momentum, to embracing the full version of who we are. And then the third and the final perception or version are those people who can be very challenging, right? They come into our lives and bring a lot of yucky feelings. They make us feel so uncomfortable, and we almost don't want to interact with these people, but sometimes we can't actually walk away from them. They may be family members, they may be workmates, and they may be some friends who we just feel obligated to, or we seem to have an energetic tie with these people. And it's easy to say that it's important that we walk away from these people and never look at them again. But the truth is that life has brought these people into our environment, into our everyday interaction. And if that's the case, then they are also reflecting to us a perception of who we actually think we are, but we're not ready to we don't have the courage, not ready, but we may not have the courage to own that fully. And they're also coming in to reflect those parts of us so we can acknowledge it and find a way to transmute and transform it into what it actually wants to be. And also in a way we may be able to release it when we have that reflection in our life. But if we don't have that reflection, we actually don't even know that it's there, so it's impossible for us to acknowledge and find a way to transform that energy. So there are these three versions of who we are at any given time walking around. And it's so easy for us to say, I don't care about what people think. I know I've said that so many times, but the truth in my heart is that I do care about what people think. Because every person who comes into my life, you who's watching and perceiving me in a way, is also reflecting to me the energy of who I am and how I interact with the energy of the world through you and with you. So in a way, I do care about what people think. But it's when I get attached to these thoughts about how people see me and believe me to be, then it can cause me to lose my foundation. So what is the best version of the three versions? Is it the perception of what I have of myself, or is it the positive reflections or the not so great challenging reflections? If we take a minute just to even query this question, because most of us want to know which is the best. If we have a choice of more than two or more, we want to know which is the best version. But this question actually arises from the mind, because the mind likes to categorize. The mind likes to have a linear category and likes to box things into categories, into situations or places, so that it can feel safe and know what it's interacting with. But in reality, if we're really to connect with our heart and to connect with the energy of life, if these three versions exist in our field, that means all three versions are very valid. And there is no one better than the other. They all form a kind of a link to each other. Maybe it looks like a triangle, but they all are linked together. And they form this energetic triangle of who we are. So in that case, how can we find a way to integrate all these three versions? How can we find a way to allow ourselves to evolve from the attachment of these three versions? The answer to the how is to have an open mind and have an open heart. It's not to say that if someone is challenging, then what they are reflecting back to us is the truth. But there is a possibility for us, there's some room for us to grow and evolve in that reflection, in that interaction of being challenged in a way. And at the same time, when there's someone positively reflecting back to us an aspect that we've never known in our lives, there is so much opportunity for us to step into it, to lean into it a little bit more, and actually see how that quality may already be existing in us, but we're not yet willing to step into it out of our own insecurities. So in this video, my invitation is to, at least I am learning how to refrain from saying I don't care about what people think. Because the truth is, it's not about them, but it's also not about me. It's about both of us together. And when I know that I actually do care, how can I utilize these reflections of how people see me and how people perceive me in the most healthy, holistic way that serves the betterment of who I am today and who I wish to be tomorrow. So I invite you to reflect on what kind of mirror reflections have you been receiving in the last week, and how has that been nurturing or triggering in ways that you weren't aware of, and in what ways can you integrate both of those versions, or all the three versions, and find a way to transform qualities that you may have been attached to, but those qualities are willing to come out or be released depending on what they are. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.